The Republican Study Committee chairman today saying it might be time for Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to retire following his latest failure to pass Obamacare repeal. Congressman Mark Walker stating, quote, "I think he's a huge part of the problem. There's a growing consensus that would be very happy if the fine senator from Kentucky called it a career." Our next guest says McConnell still has a chance to repair his course and let the majority rule on the Trump legislation. Joining me right now, Congressman Trent Franks, a member of both the Armed Services and Judiciary Committees. All right, before we get to Mitch McConnell, let me ask you, Representative, about the Tom Price issue. What's your reaction to his retirement, quote unquote?
Well, Trish, thanks for having me on. I am very biased when it comes to Tom Price. I think he is a great, noble human being. He's a precious friend, and I think that the country has lost a fine leader. I don't know all the details as to what precipitated everything, but I will just suggest to you that it's a loss for America.
Well, Congressman
Tom Price
Franks
is a great man.
Yes, but you know, one of the reasons why Americans sent Donald Trump into the White House was because they were tired of this, right? You know, we all work hard for our money, every single one of us. And the idea that anybody in government would waste our money needlessly by taking a private plane. And I hear you, you know, it's been done before in other administrations, but isn't this administration supposed to be different? Don't we need to hold every lawmaker to a different set of standards because it's a different day and age with a different president in the Oval Office?
Trish, I can't argue with a thing you've said. You know, I started out saying I was biased in Tom's favor because he's just such a man that I know to be such a great human being. But obviously, I would be completely open to any explanation that he might have, and maybe he could deal with the very valid points that you've expressed here.
Well, I would only add to this that he did get in some hot water for some insider trading allegations also. That surfaced back in January when many were concerned, including myself, that his broker traded some stocks despite the fact that he was about to introduce legislation. And so, sure enough, he introduced legislation and his broker in the meantime was trading these stocks. We will leave that aside for a moment because I want to get your reaction to this new policy that's been put in place. The OMB basically saying, okay, from now on, if you want to take a private jet, you're going to have to get John Kelly to sign off on it. This has to go all the way to the chief of staff.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that. You know, I've always certainly avoided those issues in my own life, and I'm all for that. I think that the American people want their leaders to try to take a clear look at what is facing the country and to try to act in the country's own best interest no matter what. So I have no issue with the OMB order at all.
Good. I don't think anybody would. I think this is, you know, we want to start holding government accountable. And that means holding them accountable for every dime that they spend. It can't continue in the way that it's going. But with all that in mind and the fact that we are still facing a $20 trillion debt load, we're looking to cut taxes. And I, for one, am all for that because I really do think you need to do something to stimulate this economy and to incentivize businesses to be here. So this is all in the plus column. But let me ask you, do you think Mitch McConnell is going to be able to pull it off? I mean, he couldn't do health care repeal. Can he do taxes?
There's a very clear explanation why we're not getting anything through the Senate, and Mr. McConnell knows that, and it concerns me tremendously. We have, like I say, over a trillion. We have over $20 trillion now in debt, and it's because the filibuster in the Senate slow marches us into bankruptcy. When Republicans are in control, the filibuster stops us from dealing with the spending in the appropriations process, and when the Democrats are in control, it's spend to eternity. So either way, we go deeper in debt, and Senator McConnell has to deal with the filibuster. He either has to deal with the filibuster, this 60-vote rule to allow anything to come to the floor, or he has to explain to the American people what his plan is to save the country.
Is he going to make it? Is he going to last?
The Senate filibuster, the 60-vote rule, will not last.
Forgive me, Mitch McConnell.
The Democrats have already said that they intend to change it, and if Senator McConnell doesn't do something to make sure the American people get a glimpse of Republican policy first, then perhaps Mark Walker has a point.
So call it a career. All right. Well, thank you. We'll see what happens. Congressman Trent Franks,
thank you,
good
Trish.
to see you.
Thank you very much.